Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new week of Grand Slam Saturday for September 11th. God bless all of those who lost their lives 20 years ago this very day on September 11th, 2001. And I'm going to take a brief moment of silence in honor of their memories. Thank you. Just wanted to get that out of the way because I know this is going to be airing September 11th. I'm starting recording this week on September 5th, the previous Sunday, and we're going to get if you love fan favorites wrestling each other, you're going to love this episode or this Okerlund Cup series from Honolulu, Hawaii. It's the Tokyo and the Mexico City circuits, and the fan favorites had a field day for the most part in the previous rounds up until the finals, which is where we pick up the action. So get out your slide rule. We're gonna go scientific these next two bouts, and then we have the big world title bout between Pat O'Connor and John Pezic, which will be no DQ. So Pezic's got a pretty good shot of becoming a three-time world champion. But we've said that before, right? So in our preliminaries, Bruiser Brody Stan Hansen lost to Jumbo Tsuruta and Yoshihiro Yatsu. Yoshiaki Yatsu, I should say, and they won in clutch fashion 28:07, right before the time limit was to end, which would have given Brody and Hansen the advancement to the semis. A jumbo flying knee conked out Hansen. You didn't think Brody was going to do the job, did you? At 28:07, so he wins. The Masked Assassins and a team of Negro Casas and Ultimo Dragon, which we were about to see in the final. A little sense of foreboding there. They go to a 30-minute draw, so the high seed advances whenever we have draws, double countouts, double DQs. Then in the Mexico City quarterfinals, Carl von Schatz and Kurt von Hess could not beat the Sharp brothers, who are relatively a new team in GSW. They've only had a few matches, and the Sharps win by DQ. They advance to the semis. The Gangstas lose in quick fashion, 23 seconds, to the Renegade Warriors, so the Warriors move on. And then we went to the Tokyo semifinals. Jado and Geto, remember, Misawa and Kawada, who are the Pacific Tag Champs, are not in this tournament because Mitsuharu Misawa could wind up in the main event at the Okerlund Cup, depending on what happens between John Pezic, Pat O'Connor, and so forth. Misawa should get the title shot, but this could be the last match we have for a while between John Pezic and Pat O'Connor. Pezic has already challenged Misawa to a bout in a couple of weeks if needed, if he is still not the champ. And I have a feeling that if O'Connor loses tonight or subsequently, that O'Connor may challenge Misawa for his slated title shot. And if it's Pezic, if it's O'Connor, if it's anybody else challenging Misawa in a couple of weeks in Dublin, Ireland, they have to pin Misawa in 60 minutes. That will be the stipulation. But Jado and Geto lost to Casas and Dragon. Casas and Dragon win by pin 12:42. Inoki and Baba had a technical bout with Jumbo Tsuruta and Yoshihiro Yatsu. It was the bout of the night so far, 4 stars. But Inoki got Tsuruta with that supplé of his. So Inoki and Baba advance, and they're going to face Negro Casas and Ultimo Dragon here in just a moment. Now, in GSW, in a tournament, if you have champions competing in a tournament, the title is in play. No matter what stage, semifinals, finals, quarterfinals, round of 16, 32, or 1,024, doesn't matter. The titles are in place, so Dos Caras and Mil Mascaras wound up facing the Renegade Warriors. They went to a draw, 45 minutes. So Dos and Mil moved up. Tony Gurria and Larry Sabisco, who were a fan favorite tag team back in the 70s in the WWF, they drew the Sharp brothers. So by ways of draws, it's going to be Dos Caras and Mil Mascaras against Gurria and Sabesco. That'll be our next bout. Right now, let's start with this bout, and it should be a dandy between Inoki and Baba and Casas and Dragon. And off we go. Inoki and Baba, of course, benefited with Misawa and Kawada not in the tournament. Their 3 seed turned into a 2 seed. Rip to the ropes, and Inoki and Baba start off with the double team. I think these teams are just going to let it all hang out here and try to go for the win. It's 60-minute time limit. So if we have a draw or some other non-result, Inoki and Baba are going to move on to the round of 16 in Dublin, and that'll be in a couple of weeks. Actually, we're in week 34. This is the last card of week 34, and then the next three matches you're going to see after the Okerlund Cup will be week 35 here, year 4, if GSW play. Casas and Dragon have had a very good record in the Okerlund Cup tournaments. They won, I believe they beat Midnight Express in a previous year to win titles. They were the World Tag Team title holders for a bit in a previous year. I forget that was either year 2 or year 3. It's about even in this bout, Inoki and Baba. With the legal throw, and there's your first pin attempt of the bout. No, the second pin attempt of the bout. So I'll just talk to you and give you a little background. Inoki and Baba, of course, very rarely got together because Inoki ran New Japan Pro Wrestling and Baba ran All Japan Pro Wrestling, which was the first real federation in Japan after the passing of Ricky Dosan, who ran the JWA. And then Inoki left AJPW for NJPW and started his own federation and brought in talent, brought in the Gaijin. Uh, and kind of like how Ricky Dozan and Giant Baba did, the Americans were always the bad guys invading for the most part, but not always. Submission move, that's not going to get it done. So I've blabbed through about 10 minutes at about Inoki and Baba still holding a little bit of a lead over Negro Casas and Ultimo Dragon. Casas was a heel in Mexico, but they were a babyface team. Casas and Dragon were a babyface team in Japan. Go figure that. Scorpion Deathlock, that's not going to score. Another Scorpion attempt. It damages Inoki and Baba, but only a little bit. It's a nip and tuck battle. About 13 minutes into the time limit. No pin there. No action. Submission move by Casas and Dragon. But that can't possibly score a submission win. Inoki and Baba 2-0-1. They've had a few title shots. They drew with the Von Brauners back when we had the international tag titles. Going to a time limit draw against them. And they are 2-0-1 coming into play. Right now, Casas and Dragon are 1-2-1. Both teams, actually, Casas and Dragon have a win and a draw already in our tournament tonight. And that's a no-pin attempt. A pin attempt that was kicked out of. We're 17 minutes almost into the bout, and now Inoki and Baba have opened up a 100-point lead with some double teaming. A leg hold by Inoki and Baba. An illegal throw right back with Casas and Dragon. An Acai moonsault was countered. Inoki and Baba saw that coming. They're the bigger team. Body slam, no pin there at the 1854 mark. After this, we'll have Dos and Mil against Gurria and Zabisco for the Latin American tag titles. Part of the new Mexico City circuit and the Sixth Circuit plan. GSW enacted after week 30. Some more double teaming going back and forth. Casas and Dragon have had a pretty good segment. They've only now trailed by 73 points. Legal power move and auto control laws. Fan interaction. Yeah, fans want Inoki and Baba to represent Japan in the Okerlund Cup and do well. Next week we will have the London and San Juan qualifiers from Bermuda, Hamilton, Bermuda. Hey Siri, what's the largest city in Bermuda?
Here's what I found from worldatlas.com. Situated in the northeastern part of Bermuda within the St. George's Parish is St. George's, the largest city of Bermuda.
Okay, sorry folks. I think it's Hamilton, Bermuda. Hey Siri, what's the weather in Hamilton, Bermuda? Thank you. Okay. I just wanted to be sure there was a Hamilton in Bermuda, like I thought there was. Okay, back to the match. Some more double teaming going on, but it's not going the way of Anoki and Baba. It's going Anoki and Baba's way more than it is Casas and Dragon. We're 25-26 into the bout, and Noki and Baba keep with the double teaming, and they've opened up about a 90-point lead. Noki, Casas, and Dragon come back, and they get a nice double team maneuvering. 40 points off for Anoki and Baba. So, thing about tag teams and wrestling's finest, which by the way is the product we use, Tom Vogel's Wonder, is leads can change quickly. If you're up 100 points in a tag team bout, you might not be up 100 points long. Whipped to the ropes by Inoki and Baba. We have had 10 pin attempts. Inoki and Baba have had 7 of them. As we are at the halfway point of this bout, so play attempt, ka-chunk, and a disqualified check. Inoki and Baba still alive. Legal chop, suplex attempt again. And Inoki and Baba are injured. They have a back injury. Well, one of them does. So we will change moves right here in front of you. And that's how we do it. Body slam, suplex into a headlock, ropes into a headlock. They'll be out 3 days, but they'll be injured for 3 days, but their next collective bouts will be next week sometime. So it'll apply for this bout only and not when we head to Tokyo again in week 36. Noki and Baba, backslide, no. Negro, Casas, and Baba. That was Casas and Dragon had their best pinning chance of the bout so far. We're 34-44 in. Noki and Baba getting encouragement from the crowd. They have a 213. No, make that 233. They're up 230, 223 right now. I'll get it right one of these days. Noki got his Enziguri in. And that's the bout. Dragon was pinned. He got it in on Dragon. That little back kick he has. He was supposed to do that to Muhammad Ali, the Enziguri, in their bout in Tokyo in 1976, but Baba, they couldn't. Inoki and Ali could not find a finish that would work for either of them. So Inoki and Baba are going to win by pin, 4 points. It was a good bout, 36-15. Inoki over. Dragon with an Enziguri. 287. And the finish was that Inoki was supposed to be so bloody he couldn't continue. But the referee would have trouble because the referee would be 3.5 stars on the bout, by the way, would be English, and Inoki would speak Japanese and probably understood very limited English. That there would be a communications mix-up. The ref would raise Ali's hand or something like that, and then Inoki, not knowing that the bout was being stopped on cuts, would give him an enziguri, knock him out. So each side in the battle would have something to hang their hat on, and they would both look good in their respective countries. So Inoki and Baba, the super team, they're going to move on to the Sweet 16. They had a 4-star bout with no, they did have a 4-star bout with Saruta and Yatsu. They finished with a 3.5-star bout. Egos have been kept in check, I'm going to write in my notes. So we move on to our Mexico City semifinal. Actually, no, final. Final. It's going to be Dos Caras and Mil Mascaras. These guys right here on the left photo. And this will be for the title against Gorilla and Zabisco. So Larry Z against Gurria and Zabisco. One fall, 60-minute title bout. If there is, as we said before, if there is a draw, we have Gurria and Zabisco not moving on. Dos and Mill will move on. So this is for the title, and it is a Mexico City final. One fall, 60. So maneuvering here, and let's go. Dos and Mill should move on. Men are shaking hands. Dos and Mill are 2-1-1 in their bouts this year. And Tony and Larry are 1-2-4, having just taken the Sharps to a time limit draw. So the 1 and the 2 seeds advanced in Mexico City, and off we go with this bout. Of course, Larry would later, this team is from the mid 70s, so it would be a few years later that Larry turned on Bruno Sammartino and had a series of great matches with him and went on to be AWA World Champion in the late 80s, early 90s. Lost the title to Mr. Saito, if I remember correctly, but I think he eventually was the last AWA champ as they folded up shop in the early 90s despite ESPN's coverage. They could not keep the AWA propped up forever. And that went into history. And then in the 90s, of course, it was the WWF and the WCW. And if WCW was not so mismanaged by AOL Time Warner, they might still be in business all these years later. But they were losing $5 million a month. That nobody wanted to run them, and those who wanted to run them just couldn't do the job because they bought, of course, some very top name professional wrestlers, but all the salaries that they were accruing, like I said, in JJ's Bill and Dylan's books, they were losing $5 million a month, and that, not many businesses are going to be able to stay upright for long, losing $60 million a year. A couple of pin attempts here on Gurria and Zabisco. Actually, we have gone 6 pin attempts. The bout is actually Gurria and Sabisco's way right now. They're doing better. If they win by pinfall, they are the new champs. Flying body press, that was countered by Sabisco and Gurria. Legal chop by Dos and Mill. Some double teaming by Zabisco and Gurria. Kick was countered. And the submission's not going to score. After this, we'll have our big no DQ world title bout between O'Connor and John Pezic, who has gotten several chances at O'Connor being the number one contender by a very wide margin in GSW. No pin there. Flying knee drop by Dos and Mill. That does not get it done. We're 18-11 into this Mexico City final. Next week we'll bring you to London and the San Juan finals because I made the brackets when we still had 16 circuits, so that will carry out, and they'll be in Hamilton, Bermuda. Grounded Octopus. Well, I can't score a pin because a 0 was the last submission number, so we know that would have been impossible. Whipped to the ropes by Dos and Mill, and a double team that was countered. Turnbuckle move countered. Chop scores. But Dos and Mill are way behind. They are about 106 points behind, as Zabisco and Gurria have had good strategy in this bout. A whip to the ropes. I don't think Zabisco has been champion as a single or as a tag team in GSW. Abdominal stretch, that's not going to get it done. Again, 0 in the third submission attempt number assures you that the odds are 0. Body press out of nowhere on, I think it was Mill, no pin. We're 24-21 in the bout. Supplé attempt, no pin. Dos and Mill are just taking a licking and they keep on ticking. Kicked by Dos and Mill. Submission move, that's not going to score. Be a shame if this went to 60 minutes and we wound up with a time limit draw. Dos and Mill would advance and keep the championships. Sabisco and Gurria now up 160 points. They have a rolling reverse. No pin. This is for the Latin American Tag Team title. Full Nelson, no pin. Double team attempt. Sabisco and Gurria keeping it within the framework of the rules, but they're bending them just a touch. Another double team. Atomic knee drop by Sabisco was countered. Legal whip to the ropes also countered. We're at 31-11. Still no pins. And Gurria and Sabisco have been pressing the issue. They have 10 of the 14 pin attempts. Neckbreaker by Larry. No. And a submission attempt. No. Kick by Zabisco and Gurria. Kick by Harris and Milskaris. As both these teams losing temper a little bit. Legal chop by Dos and Mill. Bear hug. That will not get the pin. Double team attempt by Dos and Mill. And this is how they could get back in the match. Legal chop by Zabisco and Gurria. Kick by Larry and Tony. Larry and Tony with some more double teaming. Their lead is now 233 points. Arm hold by Larry and Tony. Leg drop by Larry and Tony. They are dominating the champs. In fact, they're now getting a little bit of fan support here in Hawaii, which I'm sure is something Dos and Mill did not expect would happen. No pin there. A supple attempt. 11th pin attempt by Tony and Larry. They have been close. Arm breaker. That will not get the submission, although it looked extremely ghastly. Disqualify check. Larry and Tony keeping it within the rules. Another supple attempt and ka-chunk. They're up now 283 points. Make that 303 points with the double teaming. Seems to be a matter of time before Larry and Tony are your new Latin American Tag Team Champions. Roll up! No, they don't get it. A legal knee for Dos and Mill. Oh. It was Dos that was pinned. Mill separated Larry from the pin, so we keep going. Did not expect Larry and Tony to be so dominant in this bout. Legal chop by Dos and Mill. Body slam. No pin. Armbreaker will not count as a submission because, again, 0 on the submission, the third submission number. Ooh, a chair shot by Dos and Mill. Ow. Oh, boy, it's getting chippy now. Arm hold for Dos and Mill. And right now, Dos and Mill just want to survive and run out the clock. Illegal choking. Well, Dos and Mill started it. No pin. Body slam by Larry and Tony. A neck hold. We're at the 45-minute mark. We have 15 minutes left in this bout. If it's a draw, Dos and Mill will move on, and they will really have earned it. They're now at 579 points of damage. So Gurria and Zabisco up 345. More double teaming. Whip to the ropes by Gurria and Zabisco. Legal chop. No pin. Fan interaction. Now some of the fans are with Dos and Mill. Say the crowd is about 50-50. Kick by Dos and Mill. Double teaming. But remember, time is on their side. 48-36 into the bout. Neckbreaker by Larry, but that does not trigger a pin. More double teaming. They've done everything but win the match. They have 15 pin attempts to Dos and Mill's 7. Indian Deathlock, no pin. Double teaming. Whip to the ropes. Hair pull by Tony and Larry. I guess they pulled the mask. Okay, illegal chop. Could this be it? Yes, it is. We have brand new Latin American Tag Team Champions in the form of Larry Zabisco and Tony Gurria. They have upset their fellow babyface team, not heels. So Larry and Tony are your brand new Latin American champions. It is their first ever championship reign, and they will get 5 points in the rankings, and Dos and Mill will lose 5 points. The time of the fall was 51:43, and it was Larry pinning Dos. I guess Mill wasn't up to doing the job. And it was 676 in damage to Dos and Mill, 271 off of the new champions, Larry Zbyszko and Tony Garea, and the match went 4 stars. So we have brand new Latin American tag champs. Now, do we have a brand new world champion after this bout that we're going to play out for you right now? Pat O'Connor, we use his champion's card. He is the world champion. He faces John Pezic, a man he's had trouble putting away. Pezic is a shooter, a heel shooter. This is for the world title. It is, well, I didn't set it up right, folks. Hang on. Let me do it again. O'Connor, Pezic. I did not stipulate that this was a no DQ bout. It's for the world title, no DQ. Now I have it right. This should be a dandy. Pezic comes in with a record in year 4 of 3 wins, no losses, 3 draws. O'Connor as champion, this is his 13th match. He is 6-2-4. Just went to a time limit draw that you saw last week against the very same Antonio Inoki you just saw a couple of bouts ago. And off we go. Pezic starts it out with a chop countered by O'Connor. O'Connor goes for a pinhold right away. That's countered. Elbow countered by Pezic, so we're seeing nothing but counters. Oh, a steel chair from Pezic to O'Connor. Ouch, that's gotta hurt. That's 30 points off. Pin. Punches by Pezic. No action, no action. And Pezic again throwing O'Connor into the crowd. And the assault continues. So O'Connor already down a heap load of points, 79 and 238 legal chop. It's been all Pezic so far. Pezic has control. Toe hold. Could this be it so soon? No. No pin. Kick by O'Connor. So if Pezic wins, he is the world champion, and the meeting with Misawa on week 37 will not be necessary. Unless O'Connor wants a little piece. O'Connor will probably head back to the Atlanta circuit. Small package for Pat O'Connor. No pin. And again, O'Connor, this time it's O'Connor battering Pezic around. 30 points off of his total. Legal forearm by O'Connor. Leg hold by O'Connor, followed by a kick and an abdominal stretch. No pin. Rolling cradle, no. Foreign object tried by Pezic, no. Kick by O'Connor. Punches for Pezic. And a kick. Oh, the ref is looking closely, replaying it in his mind. It was legal. It was legal. That was just above the belt of Pat O'Connor. And O'Connor heads for the arena floor, but Pezic follows him and begins assaulting O'Connor, and Pezic now with still about an 80-point lead. Choking. No pin. Legal chop by Pezic, followed by illegal punches. And a clamp-like claw, but that does not get a submission. Arm hold countered. Headlock by Pat O'Connor. O'Connor has been champion now 7 weeks. I believe it was 7 weeks. It could be more. Let me just look at my notes here real fast, folks, which I happen to have. on the other monitor, and I can tell you how long he has been world champion. He won the world title week 28, so I am mistaken. It's been 6 weeks. Kick by Pezic, legal throw by Pezic, and now O'Connor going for a pinhold. He has a very low odds of getting it, but he tried it anyway. And of course, you'd want to try. Leg holds by Pezic, and Pezic is now up 92 points. Toe hold. No, he had about a 50-50 chance of winning the title right there, but he couldn't do it. An old shoot style toe hold. And O'Connor now down 129 points, if my math is right, which sometimes it isn't. Legal forearm by O'Connor. Low blow by Pezic. No pin. Eye gouge by Pezic. He's throwing the rule book out the window. Legal throw by Pezic. No pin. No action. Legal choking. An auto control loss. An arm hold for O'Connor. No action. No action. Legal punches was countered. Face rake countered. Kick countered. Headlock countered. Throat chop by O'Connor. And that caught him square in the throat. No pin. We are at 16:06. Pezic still dominating with a 137-point lead until that kick comes that trims it down a little bit. Body press, no pin. Speed move by O'Connor. Chair shot to the face from Pat O'Connor to Pezic. Oh, and that's 15 points off. The crowd cheering a little bit. They've seen Pezic play dirty, and they haven't seen O'Connor play dirty, which he can do. Legal punches by Pezic, a kick by Pezic countered. Legal chop by O'Connor, followed by illegal punches. Lead is under 100 points. Face rake by O'Connor. And Pezic blasting O'Connor again with all the weapons he can muster, and that brings O'Connor back to square one in this bout. He now trails 125 points. Choking by Pezic. Has an outside chance of getting the pin, but no. Legal chop by Pezic. Kick was countered. Indian deathlock by O'Connor. I don't know why I ran the submission. I just did. Pezic came out of retirement, interfering in the Monarch of the Mat final. Commissioner solely fining him a hefty amount. So Pezic just turned around and said, "Here's your money, but I'm going to start wrestling again." And he says he wants to win the world title a third time and then re-retire. Throat chop, whip to the ropes, leg hold by O'Connor, punches by O'Connor. And Pezic is cut. O'Connor blasted Pezic with the ringside bell. And it's a small trickle, though, only 2 points. Rolling cradle was countered. Illegal punches by Pezic. Pezic doing very well, but he has a very long time to go in this bout. Submission move. Fan interaction with O'Connor. And he loses focus acknowledging the fans. Legal forearm by Pezic. A body slam by O'Connor counted. Legal power move by Pezic. So Pezic up continuously now, about 100 points. He's doing damage to O'Connor. It's just a matter of can he pin him in 60 minutes. Legal throw countered. Legal punches by Pezic score. Auto control loss. Another barrage. This time it's O'Connor on to Pezic while they're outside the ring. O'Connor rolling cradle, but that's countered. Pezic's too smart for it. An eye gouge. So we're 26:53 in the bout. Pezic has a very faint cut, 2 points. He's taken 213 worth of damage. O'Connor has taken 318. Illegal choking by John Pezic. Neck hold by Pezic. Punches by Pezic. Suplex attempt. No pin. Submission move, a bear hug. That's not going to get it done. Whip to the ropes by O'Connor. Auto control loss. Pezic, the referee, was looking around for any managers. There are none. allies, and they're told, go back to the locker room, boys. Neck hold by Pezic. We're halfway through the bout. Pezic has a 108-point lead. Arm hold by Pezic. Boston Crab, no, that's not going to score. Big body slam, 50-50 chance. The world title changes right here, but it doesn't as O'Connor gets another kind roll. 20 or under would have done him in. He got a 26. Illegal punches by Pezic. No action. Biting by Pezic. He's trying to open O'Connor up. Legal throw, Pat O'Connor. Neck hold for O'Connor. Forearm. That's not going to get it done. Leg hold by O'Connor. Leg hold again for the NWA World Champion Pat O'Connor, losing his title at Comiskey Park to Buddy Rogers in the early 60s in what was, up until the 80s, the biggest gate professional wrestling had ever drawn. Rogers won the NWA title, I think it was 61 in a 2 out of 3 falls match, winning the third fall. Headlock, auto control loss, no action. Double wrist lock. Any number gives any number in the third box right here will give John Pezic his third world title. And there it is, a submission. A submission. John Pezic is your brand new world heavyweight champion a third time in what has to be considered a rather large middle finger to Commissioner Gordon Soley. It is John Pezic making history in Honolulu, winning the world title a third time. And now he will reign as world champion. He promises he will retire once somebody beats him for the title. So the fourth time this year we have had a world title change. Lundos beat Jerry Lawler early in the year. Then Dory Funk Jr. beat Jim Lundos. Then Dory Funk Jr. lost to Pat O'Connor. And now John Pezic is your brand new world title. He is the first man in GSW history to win the title 3 times. Time of the fall, 35-28. O'Connor had 403 damage. Pezic 262 with a 2 cut. So there it is. John Pezic now goes to Atlanta, and later on in this show he will face Lou Thesz for the World Championship. And with that, we head on to the New York circuit for a World Tag Title bout. Hello everybody, welcome to our latest bout here on Grand Slam Saturday. We're going to have 9 bouts for you this week. This is a World Tag Title defense in the New York City circuit. And let's get to it and show you what hath happened in New York. Bruno Sammartino has been a little unactive or inactive, with Sting being the Federation Heavyweight Champion. So he teamed up with Dominic DeNucci and they beat Dr. Wagner Jr. and Ultimo Guerrero coming in from the Mexico City circuit. 16-20, it was DeNucci over Ultimo Guerrero with a airplane spin. Ricky Starr and Paul Christie went to a 20-minute draw. Eric Embry and John Cena went to a 20-minute draw. Sabu beat Crusher Verdue by countout, so Sabu 2-0 in the Federation. Randy Savage and Dr. Jerry Graham went to, you guessed it, a time limit draw, as did Shinya Hashimoto and CM Punk. The Steiners defeated Gordman and Goliath in a surprise, 15-20, after Rick pinned Grand Goliath with a top rope bulldog. Dick the Bruiser easily over Bob Orton Jr. Ace in 4:17 by countout. The Funk Brothers are the brand new Federation Tag Team Champions. They beat the Road Warriors. They had Terry Funk dead to rights after Hawk hoisted him into the air and Animal hit him with that Doomsday device, but Terry somehow found a way to kick out. Dory caught Animal. Was it Road Warrior Animal? It was indeed. In a spinning toe hold right after that. An animal passed out from pain, and it went 1, 2, 3. And the Funks are the brand new Federation tag titles. Dory and Terry become the latest men in GSW history to hold singles and tag titles. The Undertaker defeated Sting by countout. The bout went 24-33. So Undertaker and Sting will meet in a couple of weeks. In playing time, that is. We're all ready to go with our World Tag Title bout. It's the interns, led by Dr. Ken Ramey, not to be confused, the Infernos, led by J.C. Dykes. They will battle the Crusaders. Crusaders challenging for a shot at the World Tag Titles. So off we go with this. The illegal punches is the first move, and it's the interns getting them. Illegal choking. The interns coming in at 5, 6, and 3. Crusaders in an early pinning predicament, but not to be. The Crusaders 6, 5, and 3 so far in year number 4, which is almost 3/4 of the way over with. Inside cradle doesn't trigger a pin for the interns. Double team foiled, choking by the interns. The interns just beat the Briscoe brothers, or came away with the titles. Did they beat the Briscoe brothers? No, they lost by DQs. So the next time they go to London, provided the Briscoes are still there, they're going to meet. Legal whip to the ropes by the Crusaders. Double team by the interns. Let me adjust my headphones a moment. You might hear a little audio difficulty. No pin there for the interns. And Ramey jumps on the ring apron, starts screaming at the ref. This allows the interns to deliver several cheap shots to the Crusaders. A kick by the interns that was countered. Sleeper. And the Crusaders go for a figure 4, but that will not trigger a submission. Eye gouge. Eye gouge by the Crusaders, trying to win the title over their fellow masked men here. Interns doing some double teaming. The interns with a huge lead at the 9:27 mark. Headbutt by the interns. Double teaming. That was countered. Illegal punches by the Crusaders and a legal speed move. No action. Pin hold countered. Double team attempt. No action. Pin hold. No pin. Illegal punches. Pin hold. No pin. Illegal throw by the Crusaders and illegal elbow. No pin. Disqualify check. Pin hold countered. Body slam. Can the interns get something out of that? They can. It's a successful defense of the World Tag Team titles for the interns. So they will pick up points. How many points? I can't tell you right now because I forgot to put in the rankings, and I will do that after I throw it over to me in the Atlanta circuit. And welcome to our latest stop here on Grand Slam Saturday. This is going to be a world title defense in the Atlanta circuit. I haven't set it up yet, so I'll set it up in front of you. We just had the finish of the match between Vader and Mr. Wrestling 2 for the national championship. Ray Steele interfered in that bout. 2 is going to forego his rematch for the national title, and he wants a piece of Ray Steele, the old World War II era grappler. But we're setting up our championship match. It's going to be John Pezic, who just won the world title last week, a few days ago, against Pat O'Connor. And he gets Lou Thesz. Talk about a challenging opening title defense. And we use the Pioneer Lou Thesz, not the Master Lou Thesz, the Thesz 49 minus. And he could probably go with Pezic. World title bout, 60 minutes. Except if you're on the West Coast when you'll see it at your normal time. A little CBS football, NFL football humor for you all. And Pezic will be defending the title. So he's a heel. He gets that right. But let's tell you very quickly what happened in the other bouts in Atlanta. The Nasty Boys defeated Rocky Johnson and Tony Atlas. Ted Cox went to a draw with the debuting Fritz von Erich. Greg Valentine and Kensuke Sasaki. It's Valentine who won easily by countout. Henri de Glan shocked the world and beat Ray Steele. They agreed on a waiver to the time limit of 20 minutes, as they barely broke a sweat in 20, but de Glan wins, kick to the midsection, 25-47. Dusty Rhodes, the Dream, the Bull of the Woods, beats Dick Davis court in 2 minutes. Kevin Sullivan over Dusty and Dustin Rhodes, not Dusty. Dusty was in the previous match. The Scots by DQ over the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. Again, another waiver of the time limit. Pat O'Connor, this was an unscheduled match that was just entered into the card. He had a little tune-up with Disco Inferno. O'Connor, you'll see at the end, our very last match here on Grand Slam Saturday, against John Pezic, the rematch for the world title, depending that Lou Thez doesn't win it here today. Big Van Vader, Mr. Wrestling 2, we told you about that was Patterson and Stevenson over the Renegade Warriors by pin. We told you about Vader and 2 already. So let's get our match started. Computer likes Pezic. Pezic is defending the title, so he can get himself DQ'd if he wants to, keep the title. And Thez, like I said, we're using the 49 minus Pioneer card, so he will probably be able to hang with Pezic somewhat. And even if he gets a draw, he's going to get 6 ranking points. If he wins, he gets 8. Because Pezic is far and away our top competitor in GSW right now. And if he loses, he has promised everybody that he would retire again. Thez press right off the bat does not score. As Pezic starts with a 0 pin rating in the third number, which meaning, some pin attempts are not going to work. Small package, that does not get the pin. Rolling reverse, that cannot get a pin, so we won't even try it. Legal forearm. Early on in the bout, Thez is positive 10. He got fan interaction early on, which is the only way you could prove your damage score. And John Pezic is already about 100 points behind. So Thez is off to a good start. A legal throw. No action. Thez comes in 10-6-3 on the year. Pezic 4-0-3. 10 minutes in, he is off to a good start, but that doesn't mean anything until he start making pin attempts. And right now, Pezic's pin rating is still a 0. Illegal choking by Pezic. And Thez is busted open. He takes a 21-point damage cut, and he's losing a few points there on damage. He's down to 37, but he still has an 80-some-odd point lead. Thez pummeling Pezic. But again, you can't get a pin on him right now. Legal throw. You can't score the pinfall. The only way you could get a pin right now on Pezic is if a special event happens. Greco-Roman drop, that can't even score a pin. 14-14 in. You got to wait for the damage to accumulate, and then those pin numbers start going up. Toe hold countered by Thez. A chop by Thez. Thez had a lot of time. Pile driver, we can't count that. Step over toe hold face lock. Cobra, no. Camel clutch there, no. Legal leg hold. Can't really score pin attempts until that pin rating goes up from 0. Because there's no fluke result. There could be a special result that would help Thez, but right now that is it. Pezic is almost unpinnable at this point in the match. You're really going to have to pound him. A body slam. And that's the first pin attempt for Pezic all about. Body press. No. So this could be a bout that could very easily go to a 60-minute draw, but we'll just keep watching. 20-49 in. Antonio Inoki's already taken credit for softening up Pat O'Connor so Pezic could win the world title. Leg drop by Pezic. Throw by Pezic. Headlock by Pezic. A chop by Pezic, so he's mounting up the moves. Front chancery doesn't usually result in a pin being scored, but almost got a 3 count there. Bout is tightening down to about 70 points. Kick by Pezic, leg hold by Pezic, choking by Pezic, and another pin attempt. No. So right now it's 3 pin attempts to 1. Eye gouge by Pezic, turnbuckle move, which was a few cheap shots. Toe hold. That gets it done. A submission. And that just shows you how tough John Pezic is going to be defeated as world champion. You can't even get a pin count on him because that third number is 0. So Pezic just waited and waited and waited, and he got the pinfall to retain at 26:02 on a toe hold. And he did very well in this bout despite taking a pretty good licking. But Pezic is almost going to be impossible to pin, at least in the early going, until you really whoop on him a little bit. So it was a 5-star match, even though it only went 26:02. Pezic's still the champ. Fez is still going to be a challenger. And now we head to Texas for a light heavyweight title defense. It's going to be John Pezic against Vern Gagne. And we're back with you once again for our World Junior Heavyweight title defense in the Texas circuit. Jack Sherry defending against Vern Gagne. Or some would say Gagne. But I like to use the French pronunciation, so, it just sounds a little better. So here are your results from the Texas circuit. We'll go through them real quick. All the preliminary bouts were 1 fall, 20 minutes in time. And our title bouts were all 1 fall, 60. The Sheepherders over the Pitbulls. We had Bad News Brown making his Texas debut and GSW debut. Fought Steve Williams, who was in his first head-to-head bout. He participated in the one of the Battle Royals of Monarch of the Mat. They go to a 20-minute draw. Kenny Omega and Len Rossi also go 20. Harley Race pins Wahoo McDaniel in a bit of an upset. Nick Bockwinkel over Leroy McGurk in just a minute 23. Solis Brothers and the Hart Foundation go to a double DQ. Wild Bill Lungson and Kerry Von Erich go to a 20-minute draw. The High Flyers over the Miller Brothers in a 5-star bloodfest. The Flyers win 37-36 when Greg Gagne, see, there I go with the pronunciation again. He pins one of the Miller boys. It was Dan with a leg drop, and everybody got juice, and it was an outstanding bout getting 5 stars. And we just finished up our U.S. title bout between Danny Hodge and Freddie Blassie. Went to a double DQ, so Hodge is going to keep his belt. And Freddie Blassie has never won a title in GSW. That will now stay the same. And off we go. Technically, this is a babyface versus babyface match, but I have Sherry set to a tweener. He is defending his World Junior Heavyweight title. Gagne has never won the Junior Heavyweight title. Came close a couple of times. Lost to El Santo when El Santo briefly went heel. I think it was year 3 in the latter part of his over year-long world title reign. But Gagne has not won a world title, and he's one of the best of all time. So get out the slide rules. This should be scientific, although I think Cherry will cheat here and there. The slide rule is what they used in the days of the space program, before computers were really a thing. So we're off. Gagne is off to a good start. Legal throw. Doesn't get the pin there. Submission move. That's not going to score on Sherry that early. So this is a world title bout for the junior heavyweight champion in the world. In real life, the first major title that Vern held was the NWA World Junior Heavyweight title in the early 50s, and then he went on and became a legendary AWA title. I think he held the belt 11 times. The last time he won it was in 1981, and he immediately retired after winning the title. And it went right back to the man he beat for the title, which was Nick Bockwinkel. By the way, did I mention Bockwinkel had a bout? Yeah, he pinned Leroy McGurk. I just wanted to be sure I mentioned that. This Texas circuit kind of a combination of AWA, Memphis, and world class. maybe a little mid-south thrown in. Inside cradle, but that does not trigger a pinfall on Jack Sherry. Gagne doing surprisingly well. A pile driver, no pin there. Vern already with 4 pin attempts. Gagne sleeper, but that's not going to score because Sherry cannot be submitted. A leg hold by Vern, whip to the ropes, a legal chop. And back in the 50s and 60s and maybe into the 70s, the junior heavyweight title was a big thing. And then by the 80s, it had fallen out of favor. Legal punches by Sherry. Florida would feature the junior heavyweights, and so would some other circuits. But I would say by about 1980 or so, it was falling out of favor. Illegal elbow by Vern. Punches by Vern. Vern wants to get the title because he thought he should have won it a few years back. Sherry with a kick. Legal choking. Told you Sherry is going to cheat here and there. He was known as a very good shooter, perhaps not as good as John Pezic, our world champion at the moment, but he was up there. Double wrist lock pin, that's countered. Vern saw that coming a mile away. Figure 4, but that can't get a submission, so we ignore it. Flying body press, and that was countered by Sherry. So it's a good bout so far. Vern has opened up a 120-point lead. Roll up, but it's kind of like boxing where you could be. There was a great fight in 1990 between Julio Cesar Chavez and Meldrick Taylor. We'll first take a look at this Gagne sleeper. No, doesn't get the pin, as that actually drew a submission number of 6. And that was the fight where Taylor, to many in the crowd, it was St. Patrick's Day 1990, won every round 1-11, but Chavez caught him in the last 30 seconds and he won the fight with 2 seconds to go. So the score doesn't really mean anything. It's who gets the pin, who gets the result. Headlock by Gagne. No action. No action. Whip to the ropes by Vern. A turnbuckle move by Sherry. And Sherry going for an inside cradle. Real low odds that would be a successful pin. I have not mentioned the records of the men. Both of them come in with good records. Sherry is 12-4-3, and Vern is 7-4-3. Get a lot of draws due to the 20-minute time limit, and when I come back off of hiatus, I think I'm going to move those bouts to 30 minutes when I finish up my first week back. I'll do Tokyo, uh, Mexico City, and London, and then the following week I'll change it to a 30-minute time limit for our preliminaries. Vern's still leading by a bunch. And Armbreaker is not going to trigger a submission. Painful, but not painful enough to get Vern to tap out, I guess. A headlock by Sherry. Leg hold by Vern. Headlock by Vern. Suplex attempt and ka-chunk. And that's 10 points off of Sherry's total. We're about halfway through the bout. Vern's doing good. Sunset flip. Almost got the pin right there. He was a number away. He needed a 1 or a 2 or a 3, and a 4 falls on the 3 count. So that was a very, very close call. Legal forearm. Almost got it again. This time he was 2 off the number. Pinhold. Body press by Sherry. He comes back. No pin. We have had 12 pin attempts so far. Vern has had 9 of them. Sleeper hold. No pin. And we are getting to the point where the submission, that third number on submissions is coming up for Sherry. Sherry being challenged by a match. I think that is John Pezic that's in town. And a lot of the GSW promoters want to get the junior heavyweight champion to face the world's champ. And that might be a match we have sometime in the future. Reverse cradle, no pin. Kind of like if you look through boxing history, the heavyweight champion often fought the light heavyweight champion. Like Bob Foster fought Muhammad Ali. Billy Conn fought Joe Louis. I know I'm talking a lot of boxing for some reason. Legal choking by Sherry. And we are at the 37-29 mark. Now no pin there on Gagne. Suplex attempt. And this time Sherry kicked out between 2 and 3 by a wide margin. Illegal punches by Sherry. A leg hold. you're just tuning to this spot, Gagne was Vern was very, very close to getting a couple of pinfalls, and it happened back to back in a row. Whipped to the ropes by Vern. Souffle attempt by Vern. Vern is now up 100 and almost 70 points. Souffle attempt. And he got him! We have a brand new world champion. World Junior Heavyweight Champion. It is Vern Gagne, or Gagne if you wish. Call him what you like, but call him the champ as he ends a very quick reign. And he wins for the first time the World Junior Heavyweight Championship that eluded him a year or two ago. And he is the new Junior Heavyweight Champion. How about that? So Vern, last week we saw Jack Sherry win the title, and now Vern has taken the title off of Jack. Time of the fall was 43:10, and I'll figure out the computations on rankings in a moment. So I've been doing that on the fly. 312 to 133. Neither man drew blood, and it was a 5-star match. And with that, we will head to the Okerlund Cup. And for that, we head to Hamilton, Bermuda. And off we go for some Okerlund Cup action to wind up this expanded edition of Grand Slam Saturday. GSW Grand Slam Saturday. Big Paulie coming to you. And we'll go through what has happened in the preliminary rounds of the Okerlund Cup qualifiers in San Juan and London. We had some very interesting things happen. We're going to bring you a semifinal from the London circuit because the other side of the bracket has nobody to advance. So the semifinal between the Bulldogs, British Bulldogs, and Kevin and Kerry Von Erich is going to be a de facto final. But we'll get through. Well, I'm already jumping ahead of myself. Let's go through what happened. In San Juan quarterfinal number 1, Freebirds Hayes and Gordy advanced. They beat Jerry Jarrett, Jojo Yamamoto, or so we thought. Brian Adidas and Iceman King Parsons defeated the Power of the Pain. First ever win for Brian and the Iceman in GSW. They have lost all their matches. The British Bulldogs over the Moondogs in a good bout that got 4 stars. And then we had our first little kerfuffle of the night when the Von Erichs and Kevin Steen and El Generico, I have Shreen down, I don't know why. What happened was the Freebirds wanted to co-commentate with the British commentator, the renowned British commentator Kent Walton, but Walton said, "No, you're not in our circuit, so why should we interview you?" So instead, the Freebirds get attacked by the Freebirds attacked the Von Erichs, is what I'm trying to say, but they are in separate circuits. The esteemed commissioner of Grand Slam Wrestling, Gordon Soley, said, Freebirds, you're suspended 5 weeks. And so the Freebirds night, in terms of the tournament, ended, and we moved on to quarterfinal number 3. We had 7 teams in London. It was the Infernos and the Asian Assassins going to a time limit draw, which advances the Infernos. In the only semifinal it winds up being, the Road Warriors had some trouble with Adias and Parsons, but eventually pin them in just under a half an hour. Team Hell No, who was supposed to face the Freebirds, advances by default because of the suspension. And then we had the Atlantic titles on the line as Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan win by DQ over the Infernos, but Hulk Hogan injures his arm during the bout, and they decide to withdraw from the final. So whoever wins this match between the British Bulldogs and Kevin and Kerry Von Erich, my typing is getting absolutely sucky, is going to win the tournament because they'll have nobody to face in the final. So interesting how that worked. And then we will have our San Juan final between the Road Warriors and Team Hell No, who didn't even have. This will be their first match, so they'll have a tactical advantage there. So let's get you through our London de facto final, which is actually a semifinal. And our world title bout, Pat O'Connor will get a rematch against John Fezzik, the man who just won the title from him as our show began. So let's just double check the maneuvers and make sure everybody has. This will be a good technical matchup, we hope. The British Bulldogs come in 1-2, and Kevin and Kerry come in with a loss and 2 draws. And off we go. This will have the semifinal length of 45 minutes in terms of time, a time limit. And if we have a draw, then the British Bulldogs will advance, or if we have some other result that does not produce a winner. So off we go. Big match for each team, as the winner will move on to the final 16 of the Okerlund Cup. Legal chop by the Bulldogs, hitting Kerry's chest pretty good. He noticeably winced at that. And in the early going, the Bulldogs have a little bit of an edge. Neck hold by the Von Erichs. Rolling reverse on one of the Bulldogs. No, that doesn't get it done. Submission move we will cancel. Power move by the Von Erichs. A kick by the Bulldogs. Von Erichs with some arm holds. Submission move countered. Another small package attempt. No pin. Double team attempt by I believe that was the Bulldogs. Suplex attempt. Kerry hoisting Dynamite Kid up and ka-chunk. No pin. Bulldogs with a body slam. Both these teams about equal in power. Legal headbutt. Bulldogs always seem to find ways to use their head collectively. Of course, the Bulldogs were the WWF Tag Team Champions at one point. And then Dynamite Kid, I think it was, got hurt, had a serious injury while they were champs, and they lost the belts to the Hart Foundation in rather quick order. In 1987 at the University of South Florida Sundome, about 20 miles from where I live, no pin. Sundome has another name, and WWF was using it for SmackDown tapings, so they could put their Thunderdome facility there. Of course, now they're all touring the country, I guess, after COVID shut them down for a while. Double team attempts by the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs now in control. Fan interaction. The crowd here at Hamilton, Bermuda, knows of the Von Erichs. Claw hold, but the submission, that was Kerry doing that to Davey Boy. No pin. Fan interaction again. Fans seem to be liking the Von Erichs a little more. Standing abdominal stretch, that's not going to get the submission they wish. Double teaming by the Von Erichs. Legal throw by the Bulldogs. Leg hold by the Bulldogs. Remember, if there is a tie or a draw or some such result, then the Bulldogs will automatically advance, and they will wind up facing the Road Warriors or Team Hell No in the 8th of the round of 16 bouts, which will be a couple of weeks in playing time terms. Double team attempt. And a big double team attempt by Kevin and Kerry scores. Legal arm hold. And now the Bulldogs up about 65 points. Arm hold, double team attempt, slam and a flying headbutt attempt, but the Von Erichs quickly break that up. They try it again. Von Erichs break it up again. Power move. Legal whip to the ropes and power moves here. Suplex attempt by the Von Erichs. High knee to the chest. Pinning possible here? No. So we're about almost halfway to the 45-minute time limit. And it's the Bulldogs that lead at this point. Body press by Dynamite onto Kevin. Double team attempt by the Bulldogs. No action. Both sides want to win here. And neither team has very good records coming into this bout. The Bulldogs are 1-2-0, and the Von Erichs 0-1-2, the combination of Kevin and Kerry. So more double teaming by the Bulldogs. And claw-like hold by the Bulldogs, taking a page out of the Von Erich's books there. Double team attempt by the Bulldogs successful. A souffle attempt. No, does not score the pin, although it was relatively close. We've had 13 pin attempts, and about 10 of them have gone to the Bulldogs. 25 minutes in, and now the Bulldogs have opened up a huge lead as they continue to double team. Legal whip to the ropes. Bulldogs are just the better team here, I would think. Whip to the ropes by the Bulldogs. Another double team. Slam and a flying headbutt combination. As we mentioned in the first Pezic O'Connor bout, if this third number is any number, the Bulldogs are going to win, but they don't. Bulldogs, Carey got to the ropes, and the Bulldogs can't believe it. Fan interaction now. The Britishers in Bermuda are pumping the Bulldogs up a little bit. Flying Mare, I think that's Carey, no pin. We're 29-18 in the bout. This has been a very good bout despite the disparity in damage. Legal neck hold by the Bulldogs. More double teaming by the Bulldogs. And the Von Erichs have picked up sizable damage now. They're now trailing by 330 points. Kick by the Bulldogs. I guess that was a rugby kick and not a soccer kick. Oh well. Arm holds by the Von Erichs. Arm holds, but the Von Erichs have to do something big here in the last, 13 minutes, 12 minutes of the bout. Running power slam. And that doesn't get it done. That does not get it done. The Von Erichs very resilient. Despite the Bulldogs getting 12 of the 16 pin attempts. We're now 36:02. Side roll. And that gets it done. A pin. The Bulldogs win. They put a pounding on the Von Erichs. This combination of Kevin and Carey. So the Bulldogs will advance. They automatically win the tournament with this win in the semifinals because they have nobody to face in the finals. So Bulldogs by pin, they get 4 points for it. Time of the fall, 36-37. A good bout. A very good bout. It was, we'll say it was Davy Boy. So congratulations in order for the Bulldogs. Davy Boy. I'm recording this on Wednesday. I recorded three cards on Wednesday today. So I'm trying to go. I'm going to be, as I've said on my YouTube channel, I'm going on hiatus after this due to my mother's failing health. And I just decided I wanted to get it all done today. So it was $1.99 at the Bulldogs, $5.58. They took a pounding, the Von Erichs did, and the match got 3.5 stars. The Von Erichs were resilient. But the Bulldogs get the Duke. Okay, and you won't see this on camera, but I'm going to. Another thing I've been doing as of late is I have been doing running totals on my spreadsheet. So when totals change, I used to be when I did it, I would just fill it in when the matches were over, but I'm doing it now just to shorten up the length of time it takes. So with the win, the Bulldogs go to a ranking of 125 points, and the Von Erichs fall to 500. And did anything happen after the bout? Of course not, because these teams respect each other. Okay, so we go on to the San Juan semifinal, which was supposed to be first. but because of what happened to Andre and Hulk, it became the second of the two finals we have for you. But this will be a real final, and this will be a good bout when you consider that the Road Warriors are in their second bout tonight. They are the babyface Road Warriors that we use, and we use Paul Ellering, who hopefully will be on his best behavior. In fact, let me put that in the notes. They will be fatigued coming into this final against the fresh Team Hell No, which, if you don't know, and you don't have WWE 13 for your Xbox 360 like I do, it's the team of Daniel Bryan and Kane. Yes, I have an Xbox 360, but I haven't played with it in forever. So Team Hell No will be in the new styles section. There they are. No, there they are. And this will be a one fall 60-minute bout. Not for a title. Keep in mind the Road Warriors lost their Federation Tag Championships in a bout this week that we were mentioning. They lost to the Funk Brothers, the Dory and Terry Funk. So this will use the minus 10 DQ rules, and the Road Warriors will be fatigued because this is Team Hell No's first match and the Road Warriors' second bout, so they have the advantage. Let's see if it works out for them in this San Juan final, and the winner will get the British Bulldogs in the round of 16 bout. In game time terms, it'll be a couple of weeks. And very, very quickly, the Road Warriors win. How about that? I didn't even really give you the background and told you that the Road Warriors were coming in 14-5-3. Well, they're 14-5-3 after this, and Team Hell No falls to 2-5. But a very quick win, despite Hell No being the quicker team. So the Road Warriors and the British Bulldogs are going to meet in that 8th round of 16 bout. They win by pin, and they pick up 2 points. And the bout only went 3:31. And it was Animal pins Kane after a back elbow. And yeah, the Road Warriors look sharp in the final. They get 100. They had only lost 8 points, and the Team Hell No picked up a very quick 122. And so with that, again, I'm doing little computations. Looking for Team Hell No. They lose 3 points, fall to 106 ranking points, and the Road Warriors are going to pick up 3 more. They're in the New York circuit currently. They didn't pick up anything for beating Adias and Parsons, so they pick up 3 here, go to 135. And now we get to our final bout here on this Grand Slam Saturday. It's a rematch for the World Championship. John Pezic taking the title when we started this episode, when I gave you the week 33, week 34. This is week 35 we're finishing up here. And it's going to be Pezic, and he will be going up against Pat O'Connor, who must use his regular card now because he is no longer champion. And you see it there. He's a 180 and not 200 something plus. So this is the third time we've seen Pezic on our show. He beat Lou Thez and he beat Pat O'Connor for the title. And he has the right to use the defend the title clause or match stipulations. Pezic coming in 5-0-3. The regular Pat O'Connor card, O'Connor is 5-2-2. He is not using his champion set card because, as I said, he is no longer champion. One fall 60 minutes for the world title. O'Connor has to get a pin or get a submission, and either of them are going to be very tough against Pezic, as he is going to be very, very tough to beat early, and you're going to really have to pound him to get him into a pinning predicament. Submission move already by Pezic, but you can't score a submission that early. O'Connor has an 8-4-0 submission rating, and Pezic is 4-2-0, and his pin rating is 13-12-0. Illegal punches by Pezic. Illegal biting by Pezic. Remember, he has nothing to lose if he gets disqualified or what have you. Spinning toe hold by Pezic, but that doesn't score a submission. Toe hold, but that cannot score a submission because the third number on O'Connor is 0, so that could not score a submission. I don't even know why I tried it. Pin hold. So O'Connor already trailing, and that's a bad sign for him. He will probably be the number one contender even if he loses on this card. Supplé attempt by Pezic, no pin. No pin. Kick by Pezic, leg hold by O'Connor, a chop. Arm hold by Mr. Pezic, an illegal throw, illegal punches, and a face rake, ropes move, a flying double axe handle. And the submission by O'Connor is not going to score. He tries for a sleeper, and Pezic just shakes him off like Pezic was wearing baby oil on his body. No action. O'Connor, sleeper, countered. Arm hold used by Pezic. Double wrist lock. Speed move by Pat O'Connor. A kick. A supplé attempt. That will not score a pin, so we will not try it. But Pezic up 80 points. Arm hold an illegal throw. A quick flying mare. Neck hold. No action. Leg hold by Pezic. And yeah, Pezic getting into it with the fans, and he could. I would usually say that Pezic would be better off avoiding such interactions, but he's almost impossible to pin this early in the bout. A kick, illegal choking, fan interaction now for O'Connor as the fans here in Bermuda try to work up O'Connor to greater glory. Abdominal stretch, that cannot score a submission, so we don't try it. Arm holds by O'Connor, illegal throw countered. Pezic now in control, leg drop, that was countered. Supplé attempt by O'Connor, that cannot score a pin. O'Connor still trailing by about 80 points, but both men have accrued more damage. Low blow by Pezic. Ouch. Pezic with a headlock, a body slam, power move, just mauling O'Connor in the corner, and he got the pin. He got the pin with a maul in the corner. Sounds like a Genesis song. Phil Collins probably wrote that. That was Man on the corner, of course. So Pezic retains his title. If I can find the right keyboard. There we go. So John Pezic will be our world champion a little while longer yet. I have a feeling he's going to be champion for a long, long time. And that does it. It was 107 off of Pezic, 216 off of O'Connor. No blood. Oh, it was 218. 218. My apologies, folks. 4.5 star bout, but Pezic, as the Tina Turner song would say, he was just simply the best, and he's probably better than all the rest. Well, I hope you enjoyed Grand Slam Saturday through the weeks we have presented it to you. We are going to go on hiatus. I do not know how long, but when things are a little better in terms of the free time I have, I will gladly get back to my projects. This is actually the last video I am putting up on my channel for the time being. So wish us well, and I don't know what else to say. This has been Big Polly coming to you. We will be back as soon as we can. Bye bye for now, everybody.